Well, hello there and happy Monday. Here we are again coming together as we continue our exploration into the year of the inner child. You know, this work is so important in the sense that being able to really tap in to these various parts of ourselves, various stages of our life, and what we were experiencing, what we were learning, what we were not learning is really important. So today we're going to explore adolescence. And the invitation is to find a place of celebration. Let's read. My passage into adolescence went unmarked. No longer a child, not yet an adult. I didn't know who I was or where I was going. I felt set adrift on a river to nowhere. Those years were marked by shame, confusion, and wildly fluctuating moods and emotions and hormones. The residue of those unresolved years is still with me. Today, I will celebrate my passage from childhood into adolescence. It is the end of one life stage and the beginning of another. Now I can acknowledge my anxiety, pain, confusion, heartache, passion, and even rebellion. I can face the unanswered questions about the meaning of life, sex, death. I can acknowledge this time for its positive aspects, the chaotic profusion of new growth, the wild energy of life-seeking expression. I celebrate my adolescence as a time of great change, great peril, great power. I feel strong in my ability to navigate through these turbulent waters to the calm bay of adulthood. So at 10 years old, right on the cusp of adolescence, my grandfather started abusing me. So rather than entering into this period of time where you really are starting to differentiate from your parents or your caregivers, where you're starting to ask different kinds of questions about yourself, about life, about the people around you, you're still curious and explorative like you are when you're kind of a toddler and a young child, but you're also starting to notice more of what's going on around you in the world. And you're starting to think more and more through the lens of I and self. So when trauma, comes into the picture at this stage of life, right, we have a moment of disruption in that growth. And years and years and years later, in my mid-20s, I had a few experiences where I was really able to connect and acknowledge with the fact that I was still emotionally very much a 10-year-old. I hadn't really been able to move through and into the growth of emotional awareness and expression that was really necessary at that stage of my life. And so, when we're living our life, and I love this quote, the residue of those unresolved years. There were things that were unresolved. There were incompletions. There were things that I was meant to be learning that I didn't learn, and things that I wasn't supposed to be learning that I certainly did. And this flip-flop can create a lot of angst and confusion, stunted growth, immaturity, insecurities. And I often say that, one part of the Beyond Surviving program is healing trauma for sure, but another big piece of the puzzle is growing up and coming back to these adolescent years and finding the lessons, finding the good moments. I was just at the symphony this past Friday, and as I closed my eyes and I listened to the music, I allowed myself to positively wander through my childhood. Right? I could certainly, with the lens of negativity or things that were bad that happened, go there. And it's not trying to trick myself, but it is trying to remember that there was a duality of my experience. That on one hand, I was dealing with trauma and abuse and shame and guilt and fear and confusion and feeling bad and feeling dirty. And on the other hand, I was running the streets with my friends. I was going across the street to the park and playing. I was exploring new hobbies and, all of that was happening alongside. So my invitation to you for this week is, when you reflect back on your adolescence, get curious about what is unresolved there. What needs didn't get met? What love and nurturing did you not receive that you need to start kind of pouring on to that adolescent you? But also see if you can shift the lens and really generate and bring forward any of those positive, good moments. And remember that adolescence is a time of great power. So when your inner adolescent child seems to be running the show and popping up with a lot of those insecurities, remember that you can transform that same energy into a place of power, awareness, transformation, growth, particularly when you take a moment to really nurture that part of yourself. So have a good time exploring this. And as always, if you have questions, comments, I'm all ears. Reach out. And until next time, take good care of you.